hot Gatorade.
Perfect.
I got them out of my car like
Perfect for the
10
occasion.
minutes ago and put them in the fridge, but they did not cool down. So
It's alright. It's a nice hot summer day for a nice hot summer drink.
that's correct. So I'm gonna tell you this now because I always end up having to tell my guests this after like 10 minutes of trying not to be rude.
Right.
Is you want to talk into the blue light.
Perfect.
That's
okay.
See how
Yeah, I'm glad you told me that, or
Yeah.
I would have been rude the whole
because
time.
people always just like talk like this, or they like try to talk into the top,
Right.
and the top kind of works, but like that's where the
best
pickup
audio
is.
is right here. I can hear
Yeah.
it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
All right. So, would you please introduce yourself and, your
All right.
name, what you do?
I'm Theron Browning. I'm currently a student at IUPUI in Indianapolis. I'm majoring in media arts and sciences with a specialization in digital storytelling. Jason here, the host, is a longtime friend of mine. We grew up together. We were both homeschooled, and our families know each other pretty well. So I'm honored to be here and to... Is there a catchphrase for the show?
No, not really. There is at the end, but
All
not,
right.
not really at the
We'll
beginning.
get there then.
Yeah.
I'm excited to do this, though.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll attempt to pop plastic caps
All right.
on 3. So, would you like to count up to 3 for us?
Yeah. Let me figure out how to do this. I feel like I need 2 hands, but I need to...
Yeah, yeah.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
You said 3, so I had to pop right then. It doesn't have the same fizzly effect.
Check out part 2 when we get that right. I love Gatorade, though. Actually, fun fact, I just told Jason this off the air, but I don't even like soda, so it kind of worked out for me.
Yep. And really, I grew up my entire life not liking soda, basically until Eileen and Isaac got married, and all they had was Coke in their house. Did I start actually liking it?
It's just one of those things that, when it's around enough, you tend to
Right.
start noticing it more.
If you're not used to it, like bubbles just hurt. Like
Yeah.
you don't want carbonization.
Exactly. I hate carbonated water and all that stuff.
Oh gosh.
I mean, hate's a strong word. I shouldn't use that because if I'm really thirsty and a Coke's there, I'll drink it.
Right. But yeah. So did anything interesting happen to you this week?
This week? That's an interesting... Okay, I was gauging the whole year as soon as you started that sentence. But this week, man, okay. Let's see. Well, I went to the pool a couple days ago, and I can't say anything super interesting happened there. But I went down every single water slide here at Burdett Park in Evansville, so that was pretty cool.
Cool.
That's as cool as it gets on a weekly basis for me, though. What about you? What about this week?
Let's see. Pretty exciting for me
Okay.
is I bought a house this week.
You bought a
that's
house?
kind of a big...
Wow, that
Big
should be our
step.
topic for the whole podcast. What the heck?
Yeah, so that was a big step for me.
Okay. Where you living at?
So I'm probably not going to move in there right away.
Right.
I'm going to rent it out at first because
Well, that's smart.
I don't want to live by myself. I'm very single. And
But you could make money off of it, right? And make
right.
a profit.
So if I'm renting it out, that basically pays my mortgage for me.
That's
so
perfect.
So yeah, that should work out great.
Yeah. And then in the future, when you do want a house, then there you go.
Right, exactly.
That sounds
exactly.
perfect. Wow.
Yep. So I'll probably cut this out so people don't know where my house is.
Right.
But I'll tell you it's on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This location that's going to be bleeped out is
Yes.
it's really nice because you'll still be around the people that matter in your life. So
correct. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a big step for me. Anything else interesting happened this week? So this was just frustrating. So our church group is going to camp this week. They left this morning. I wasn't able to go because my coworker was out of town for like this week, and he was supposed to come back tonight. And
Really?
so I couldn't go because I was going to have to cover for him during this time. Well, he ended up coming back this morning, so I could have gone
Wow.
anyway.
Well, I mean,
But
you
I
did
wasn't able
everything
to.
that you could in the moment. I mean,
Yeah.
for as far as that you've known, there's nothing you could.
Yeah.
But
But
on
that
his
was-
part, that's pretty salty that he didn't let
Yeah,
you know.
that sucked. That was rough. And a couple of my friends that like we've gotten pretty close this year, and they're both moving as soon as camp ends.
Oh,
And so
dang.
like that was gonna be like a last time to spend time with them and stuff, and then they're just gone now. So that
Wow.
yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, well,
but-
we're not going to drop that guy's name in case he's watching, but
Yeah, no, I don't think he watches the podcast, but maybe one day he'll see it and be
Yeah.
like, "Dang, didn't know it was that big of a deal." But
maybe you can have your friends on for a podcast before they leave this week. I know 2 in 1 week would be a lot, but
yeah, well, they get back Friday, so that'd probably
right,
not
because they're
happen.
going
And
to
they were
fish camp.
they were the second to last guests on the podcast. Both of them.
Okay.
I had both of them on.
Right.
Just
Okay,
like
that's
2 weeks
cool.
ago. So yeah, that was fun. All right, so we have one question. We probably have more, but I can't see them. And that was your top 10 players in the NBA right now.
Top 10. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ground up, all right? Let's say Ja Morant is 10 because I really like Ja Morant. It was the first
Solid.
I saw him play in college. Actually, he played in Evansville at the Ford Stadium whenever he was, I think it was Murray State is where he was. I got to watch his last college games, so that for me personally was just cool to watch. I saw his parents and stuff. And then for the other 9, let's just say, is it all time or current?
Current. Yeah, currently in
Let's
playing.
say LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James,
Okay.
LeBron James,
Yeah.
LeBron James, LeBron James, and
Okay.
LeBron James.
All right.
I totally know at least 10 basketball players, by the way. That was just for fan service.
Right,
We
right.
got a lot of LeBron James fans. What about you, though?
So
You a LeBron James fan?
I am not a LeBron James fan. I don't like LeBron,
Okay, we can just
but-
cut my part out then.
but I still have to put him at number 1 because it's kind of undeniable how good he is.
He is a
But
successful
he's
basketball
definitely
player.
yes. But he's definitely number 2 all time. I know we're talking about right now, but he's definitely number 2 all time. I've studied the advanced metrics to the hilt of you can study them, and he's definitely number 2. And he's solidly number 2, but he's number 2. And then number 2 I got Steph Curry. Definitely solidifying him as a top 10 all time in my mind, getting his
Mhm.
finals MVP and his 4th ring. Number 3, I know everyone is going to want to say Kevin Durant, and I kind of got to go with that too.
Yeah, I mean, you're naming like household names. You
Yeah.
know, everyone knows these names.
Kevin
so.
Durant, also a very great player. You know, another player I don't really like, but can't really deny his greatness. Number 4, let's go Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
Number 5, I'm going Giannis. No, number 5, I'm going Jokic, Nikola Jokic.
Okay.
Number 6,
He's
I'm
tall.
going Giannis Antetokounmpo. Number 7, I'm going Kawhi Leonard. Did I already say Leonard?
I don't know,
No,
I'll
I'm
have to
going-
check the footage. I don't think so, though.
I'm going Leonard for 7. 8. I really don't want to put Harden in my top 10. But I guess Harden, Paul George, and then probably John Morant on it. No, Luka. Luka definitely over Harden, and
Yeah.
John Morant at my 10 and
Okay.
taking Harden out.
Perfect. He didn't have to be in the list now.
Right, yeah.
That works out.
All right. Well, what would you say is your most what memory sticks in your brain the most from when you were a child? Like just
Okay.
like
Well,
one memory when you're like, man, being a kid was awesome.
Actually, it's funny that you brought that up, but like I said earlier, we were really good friends growing up, so I made a lot of my good memories in our childhood. And a lot of them were actually here, not specifically in this house, but what the camera can't see is there's a nice giant yard here with animals and many acres of land, and we got to run free as homeschoolers. We would just, take our free time and spend it in the woods and go do all that crazy stuff. I think one memory that sticks in my mind is when you and I and your sister Eiley and my siblings Wyatt, Braden, and Oakley, we were all out there in the woods, and we found this puddle of water, and being the nature savvy kids we were, we thought, oh, let's drink from it like we're surviving or something. Our parents were livid. They were not very happy when they found out we drunk water from a sitting puddle in the woods. But
Yeah.
that's one of the good ones there. And just any memory we have swimming in the lake, those are good times.
Yeah, it's if you wonder why we have any problems, it's probably from drinking out of that puddle. We're like, oh, this water is perfectly clear. It must be from a spring and perfectly filtered here in Midwest Indiana.
I would not be surprised if I had a parasite to this day still.
Certainly. Yeah, one of mine that really sticks in my brain is just that one day we played jumping over that ditch like all day long. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Down there, we just like ran and would jump across the ditch and jump back, and we did that like all day long one day for no reason.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
Those are good memories, though. I remember your dad and all his friends would play paintball, and I was always too scared to get hit by a paintball, but I always like deep down wanted to play so bad. But all I could do was airsoft.
Yeah, paintball is more painful though. In my opinion, I mean, it depends. Right. When you have like an automatic airsoft gun, it's like right here, and they stick in your skin. That's painful. But like the paintballs, you just have this big bruise from every hit. So right. I don't know. It's kind of more damaging. It's got to
be tough enough to get shot out of a gun, but then
right. You know, it's pretty heavy, and it's got to be shot and explode. And yeah, for sure. Let me think of a question here.
Let's talk. Can I ask you questions?
Oh, yeah. You can go off whatever you would like to.
All right. So earlier, I don't remember if you said this on the podcast or not, but earlier you said you have 2 jobs. So
right.
One at the farm. And so tell me about those jobs and your favorite aspects of both and what you ultimately prefer more than the other.
Oh, okay. Definitely got to make sure my boss doesn't watch this. So, at the farm, I milk cows, and just like take care of cows and chickens and pigs and just about every aspect of their lives. And it's just me and one other guy out there. So, milking cows can be very burdensome, especially when your coworker goes on vacation, and
right.
So because they have to be milked twice a day, and so going out there morning and evening 7 days a week every day if you don't have a second person. We actually have 4 people that milk because we have 2 guys that help cover on the weekends. Mm-hmm. But like this weekend, all 3 of them were on vacation, so I had to work 7 days straight this week, and that was exhausting.
I imagine,
with all the other things I have going on right now.
So it's sounding like your other job's better, right?
So that job is basically just work hard and that's it. But what I do really like about my farm job, well, number 1, pays more. Number 2, I get to listen to like podcasts and lectures and stuff while I'm working, because it's not like a super brain heavy job. I don't have to interact with my coworker very much, except for just like planning what we're gonna do for the next hour. So in that way, I get to learn a lot while I'm working and things like that. So I'm educating myself and making money at the same time. Making the best use
of your time, yeah.
Yeah, and so for that reason, I really like my farm job. But as far as the actual work goes, I don't like it that much, except that I'm getting to use the skills that I've learned living on a farm my whole life. You know, I'm getting to use those things, so that's cool. But my other job, where I work at an after-school program, it's just a lot more fulfilling. You know, you're helping children learn and be a role model to them, and, you know, getting to plan things for them and plan games for them, and that's a lot of fun. And it's just more social environment, and I like social environments. I'm not necessarily great socially, but it's more enjoyable. That. And it's inside. That helps when it's 100 degrees out. And
yeah, that's really interesting, your answer, because it really goes to show how you can truly see the pros and cons to both sides of anything in life, you know. Being able to take the positive out of sitting in a hot barn and milking a cow all day is pretty hard, and not many people can actually find positive aspects in life like that, but that's really cool.
Yeah, I do enjoy both of my jobs, but yeah, if I had to pick one, I would definitely go with the after school program.
Because I mean, you're getting great skills from both, but
right.
Yeah. Now I got another question.
Okay.
Who's your favorite boss? Just kidding. Don't answer that.
So, you're going to school.
That's right.
Full time.
That's right.
Do you have to work also while you're up
Yeah,
there?
actually, so I'm glad you asked that. It's something I didn't say earlier. I'm also employed at the school. I am a SOIC, which is the School of Informatics and Computing. It's just abbreviated. I am the SOIC Media and Arts intern, which pretty much is just my major with an intern at the end of it. What's cool about that, though, is I get to work in the career services portion of my school. And through career services, our main job is to share internship and job opportunities with fellow students and alumni, and just keeping newsletters up to date on like events that are coming up. So being able to, like, what I do in my job there is I will do a little bit of journalism by writing the emails that we send out to students. I do graphic design by creating the post. Like, so my boss will give me the information, and then I have to make it look engaging, and then I run our Instagram account, our TikTok account, our LinkedIn account, and the experiences I'm getting through that is really beneficial. But what I like the most about it, like from as a student, is I'm the first person that gets to see new scholarship opportunities or new internship opportunities. Like, since I'm the one making this content to be posted, I actually get to receive it first, and that's a really interesting dynamic for my school life. And I've actually helped other students in my classes get internships or scholarships just because I was in the know. So
right.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
And it's a paid internship. I really highly recommend that you never do an unpaid internship. There's no reason to do work for free. There's plenty of bosses and employers out there that'll be happy to pay you for an internship position.
Yeah, because even if it's not very much, just the fact that you're getting paid at all is very
yeah, and it's a really resumeable experience to have an internship too. And most colleges make sure you have at least one internship before you graduate. Like my school, I have to have 3. So
interesting. Very cool. So I am applying for one college this year. I had one I was looking at, but then I didn't agree with their doctrine statement. It's Bible college, which I was kind of okay with not agreeing with their doctrine statement. But then once I got through the application process and stuff, and I said, hey, I disagree with your doctrine statement here. They sent me another piece of paperwork that was basically a contract that said that I wouldn't, because you have to be a member of a church while you're attending there as well, that I couldn't be a member of a church that disagreed with their doctrine statement.
That's interesting.
And for that reason, I was like, sorry, but no.
Right.
I'm going to go to church where I want to go to church. I thought I was going to be able to learn here and then have my own personal life also, so.
It's interesting that they'd be so seclusive.
Right. It was
being at Bible college and everything.
Right. It was really interesting because they are non-denominational, but they're like strict non-denominational.
Do they know what non-denomination means?
Yeah. So that
funny.
is different. So now I'm applying for a place called College of the Ozarks, which is actually a work college.
Okay.
It's a Christian college. It's not necessarily a Bible college, but so you actually work for your tuition. So nobody there pays tuition. Cool. But you work 4 hours a day and then go to school like 6 hours or something like that. And that pays for your room and board and everything.
That's awesome. Yeah. That sounds like a really structured experience. I hope that you get to do that.
So that would be really cool. But they only have an 11% acceptance rate. So, not great chances for me. But
to me, you're 1%. You're the top 1%. So you
that
should,
would be
you should
great.
make it.
But yeah, so that's a cool school. I think I'm going to major in psychology. That's what I'm looking at right now, and probably minor in music.
Those would both be perfect for you, yeah.
Yeah, and mainly the reason I would do psychology is because I love statistics, as we've already learned in this discussion, and I'm very good at statistics, and psychology is one of the main places you can use statistics. It's kind of applied statistics, and it's you learn a lot more in psychology than you just would, and most Bible colleges aren't going to have a statistics program centered toward like sports or something like that. So that's the main reason I would go with psychology. Also, I've just been studying it myself too, and it's very interesting to me. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you go down a career path with a major that's close enough to what you actually want, you'd be surprised to find out how successful you could still be. Like, what I've found in my experience at college is that though a lot of people have a hard time concrete deciding what they want to do for the rest of their life, and they're switching their majors back and forth, but at the end of the day, like, if you graduate college and you have a degree in something, that's like 50% of all of it. I mean, yeah, you get experiences and you learn and you take from that and you grow, but like being able to just put on paper like, oh, I have a bachelor in this, that employers are going to love that. And a lot of the times, if you get a job, they find you qualified and you don't know how to do a certain skill or task, they'll just teach you. So it sounds like if you were to pursue psychology, you could still turn it into what you really want to do.
Right.
Analytics and stuff. You should look into sociology. Isn't that kind of like psychology, but with a lot of people?
Yes. They're kind of psychology's really broadened recently, though, to where it's kind of become a mostly analytical field of surveying large groups of people and coming up with statistics, and just thinking of all the different ways to apply statistics, because you can't really get like the truth on most things, especially subjective things, or
true,
people are very complex, so it's very hard to get the truth. So you have to look at statistics to just get some perspective on a certain topic. And so a lot of times people really they'll do something with their statistics, they'll survey in a way to get the answer they expect.
Right.
And it's really, really easy to do. You might not even know you're doing it, but and so you have to think of all the different variables that actually add into that equation, and so that's a really big part of psychology, and to actually get a result, to learn something.
Yeah, and even in science in general,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember in my health class this last semester, we learned about not trusting certain like diets that are instant,
right?
That instantly work, and then these people who are selling the product will take like a scientific. I lost my thoughts. Hold on, cut this part out. They'll take like one group and like say of 3 people and give them, and then 2 out of the 3 experience some major weight loss or something. Then they can just throw it on the label like, oh, it's this effective, when in reality you need to survey like a mass of people.
Correct. Yeah. And also what I was gonna say is just like, when we really overlook stuff when we look for one result. So like, you might have something like, ooh, hey, this treats cancer, this works on cancer, it kills cancer, and it's like, well, it also kills people,
right?
Like, yeah. It also, what else is it doing? Is it destroying your tongue for some reason, or who knows what else it's doing? You have to think of what all, there's a lot of almost infinite sides to everything, but you have to find that balance there.
Psychology sounds pretty interesting.
it is. It can be, and it's so heavily applied too, because it can just teach you about people in general and why they make certain decisions and why, so
I love putting myself in other people's shoes. Like, I'm not the best at it or anything, but it's really nice to be able to, show some empathy and being able to actually imagine if you were in someone else's position in life and what they may have gone through. It's a really helpful tool as humans just to try to understand others.
Right. Yeah, because usually if we understand what a person feels like or what they're going through, we can choose not to do the things that are hurting them. Like if you're in a relationship and the person says, hey, when you do that, that really hurts me. Like, you're probably not going to do it. But if they never tell you that, then you're probably just going to keep doing it because you don't know that hurts them, Yeah. And so, of course, you can't do that on a very massive scale because, you can say one thing, and, can't offend one person. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's not super hard.
Where perspective comes into
That's pretty hard, actually, to not offend one person. But if you're in a relationship, you can talk about it, understand what that person's going through. How about 10 people? That's
like a polyamorous
that's a little bit.
Or something.
Well, just like speaking in general. I mean, just being social. You talk to 10 people and you have to speak in a way to not offend 10 people.
Right.
Well, what about?
Think about the presidents and
well,
people
think about
Congress.
The entire world. Well, you can't say anything.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, you're going to offend people no matter what you say. And that's we've all experienced that as being true.
True. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, you can't please everybody.
No.
At some point, you have to choose which battles you're going to fight, which ones are worth it to you.
Yep.
And you got to stay on that hill or you might lose yourself, because if you just try to live life appeasing everyone else, that person said they didn't like my opinion, so I'm going to change my opinion.
Right. Well, that person said they don't like that opinion, so now what are you going to do?
So now which side am I on?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's important to find yourself and stay concrete in your faith and beliefs and stuff like that.
Yep. The people that you're close to is what you got to, focus on. For sure. I was going to say something.
We'll cut this part out too.
I was gonna say, actually, obviously you can't please everyone, and honestly, I don't know that you could really even please one person perfectly. Like, I don't think there's one person in the world that has all exactly the same opinion on everything with one other person.
Right.
There's no one that's actually exactly the same in every aspect, And
I think more than less, opinions aren't even as important as actions, Mm-hmm. I mean, you become friends with someone because you see how they act towards others, and it's like, oh, that seems like a friendly person, or that's my type of person I want to be around.
Right.
And, I mean, having opinions is nice and all, but sometimes, I don't know, to contradict what I said earlier, sometimes maybe opinions aren't as deep as we think they are to be. Show if someone's opinion is that you're not nice and you show kindness, then other people aren't going to agree with them.
Yeah It depends where it's applied, because like you said, the actions part is kind of where the rubber meets the road. Like, if you might have an opinion on how a certain fish treats another fish at the bottom of the ocean, but it doesn't matter. You might disagree on that, but it doesn't really matter because you're never going to interact with that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So unless it's something you're actually interacting with at some point, it's not a very valuable opinion.
Yeah.
And definitely not a hill to die on, as we just said a second ago.
I like these metaphors we're coming up with. These are good.
Yeah.
We started talking about the NBA, and now we're on a whole philosophical adventure talking about the meaning of life.
For sure. All right, so alligators.
Yes.
Got anything?
Alligators, yeah, actually. So I went to Florida this spring. It was actually my first spring break, and I paid for it myself with my new job and everything, which it costed pretty much an arm and a leg, everything I had at the time, but it was just worth it to me, going with all my college friends to Florida. And there weren't any alligators, but there was this cool shop that sold a lot of alligator parts, alligator heads, claws, and stuff. Maybe that's where they all went. But I did end up buying one of the claws as a souvenir for my mom from vacation, because if I go places, I like to, I can't get everyone something, but sometimes I'm like, oh, Mom would like to know that I thought of her when I was here or something. So, yeah.
Right.
And alligators are apparently the perfect specimen because they haven't adapted at all since God created them.
Yep.
Yeah.
They just, they're a big reptile. Go ahead.
I was going to say something. I just saw this video the other day too. And this guy was doing a social experiment on alligators, and he made a suit, it almost looked like a ghillie suit, but with an alligator, fake alligator parts. But it was clearly a man in an alligator costume, but his experiment is that he would go and swim around with the alligators, and he did that. And, he had a little hat on that looked like an alligator head, and he would swim around. And he stayed on all fours on his belly, and they didn't, act
Care.
or, didn't think anything negative towards this man. And then he stood up on two legs, showing that he was a human, and then they all, skedaddled into the water. Maybe if I have it, I'll send you the link. You might be able to put it in the video, but it was really interesting to see that.
That is interesting. Yeah. Animal psychology is a whole nother.
Yeah, it's a whole different branch.
It's pretty wild.
How does the cow feel when you really milk it? Does it want to be milked? I don't know.
Yeah, it's for real. Well, I would say definitely.
Yeah.
They do want to be milked.
True.
Maybe not the first time, but after the first time, they're like, oh, they're actually relieving me. So
what's the science behind how you can make a cow keep milking? Doesn't the body naturally produce milk whenever they know they have babies? Is there a way to trick them, or?
Right. So they have to have a baby to start producing milk. And then, their body just produces as much milk as the baby drinks, basically. So you just act as the baby. And if you nurse forever, they'll keep producing milk forever.
Wow. Okay.
But, different problems come up like mastitis and things like that. So they have to be dried up every once in a while, preferably once a year. So you have them get pregnant. Takes about 3 months after after every baby before they can get pregnant again. And so then you can get them pregnant, and so then their gestation is 10 months. So you usually try to give them about 2 months of being dry. So basically from the time they have a baby, you have almost a year to milk them, and then you can dry them up and give them a little break before they have their next baby.
Cool. And that keeps population circulating in the cow community, so that's pretty cool.
Yep. That's correct.
Funny story with a cheese touch, actually. And Mount Vernon, I went to Mount Vernon High School, and then one of the kids in my grade, I shouldn't call him a kid, we're the same age, but one of the guys in my grade threw this piece of cheese my freshman year on the ceiling in the cafeteria. And if you haven't been there, it's 30 feet tall at least, really tall ceiling. And that cheese has been there ever since. And my sisters who go to school there now talk to me about how it's this whole cheese touch thing, and everyone talks about it. You can't touch it because it's on the ceiling, but they're all waiting for it to fall down so they can start a whole new cheese touch at their school.
Wow.
Got to be part of that one.
That's impressive. That is wild. So let me think here if I've got another funny story to tell, because I know I've got them in there. It's just
let me ask a question.
Bringing them up. Yeah.
If I'm allowed to. You can cut this out, I guess, if you're not to. But I heard Eileen's having another baby.
Yes.
Okay. How does it make you feel as an uncle to have another, is it nephew or niece coming along? Do they know yet?
It's another boy. Yeah.
It's another boy.
Yep.
Ah, cool. I have two boys as well, two nephews.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's also oh my gosh.
Right.
It's awesome, but it's a lot too, because just the one is already a lot.
Was already so much.
Yeah.
I feel like what I hear a lot from parents is the first one is always special because it's your first child. You don't really know how to act or anything. But by the time you have a second one or third, then it starts to come around and you've been a parent long enough. I mean, Eiley, if you're watching this, you probably will be. Congratulations. I think you'll be just fine with another child.
Yes, I hope so. You'll be so busy you can't even have the time to be depressed.
Because boys, they're crazy. Boys are crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are. Okay. I know I got a funny story in there somewhere. I just got to think.
There's
of
one
this.
you haven't said yet on air.
Right. Yeah. There's got to be something.
Because, like, you know, you could ask me a question, and there's like actually a million experiences we've done, but
right,
in the moment,
just,
you're just kind of like, oh, have I done anything at all?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm reminiscing on a lot of our childhood memories. Just trying to pull some of those up. Like, we used to. A lot of them are just us running out in the woods. A lot of the stories, but we used to do a lot of fun stuff together. Like, you know, our families would do like little Bible studies, and we'd sing. I remember this is a funny story. One of the first Bible studies that we ever did together with our two families, you know, your family, the Tunes, all of you guys, really musically inclined, very musically talented. So they would, you know, your dad, Yancey, would be playing the guitar and stuff like that. And I remember we were singing, and looking back on it, I was such a brat for this, but I was so embarrassed, and I got what I deserved. But I was like making fun of, like, singing not seriously though, or something, like trying to be goofy. I was always trying to be funny in the wrong moments. And like your dad, he didn't like get like aggressive or angry, but he kind of looked at me with this like, he was just disappointed, and I was like, oh, that wasn't funny at all. I just sat there in silence, so embarrassed. Kids can get embarrassed, believe it or not. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh man, I would, if I even got like the slightest look from anyone, I was mortified for ages.
What about how adventurous you and Eiley were growing up? Like, I remember one of your first birthdays that I went to. It was, I don't remember the guy's name, but he was like an off-brand Indiana Jones that did dinosaur, like he had like cartoon dinosaurs and stuff, and you had a whole birthday party themed after it.
Okay.
We had to go and find the like dinosaur piñatas or something.
Okay. So that was my 6th birthday. Yes. So I think. Yeah, it's my 6th birthday. So my parents bought like a bunch of inflatable dinosaurs, I think.
Yeah.
And they like hid them around the property, and we had to go find them.
That's how I remember it.
Right. Oh yeah, and there was a piñata on the swing set. And so here's the thing. When I was little, as we've said already on this podcast, I didn't know how to run. Okay? I could not run. I was the slowest person ever. I don't know what was up with my legs, but they just didn't work right, okay? So we went out to go find these dinosaurs, and I could not keep up. I mean, everyone just like took off running for these dinosaurs, and I was going as fast as I could, but everyone was just like so far ahead of me.
Yeah.
And so everybody got all these dinosaurs, and I wasn't able to find a dinosaur because I was so slow.
Wow.
And so you know how 6-year-olds are. They're all sad when they can't.
Right.
And
but I mean, you put toddlers in a room and tell them there's a competition with candy involved or cake
exactly,
or something, then it's on.
And so, yeah, I remember I didn't get any dinosaurs, and I guess I was sad about that. Woo. And then we did the piñata, which I don't remember a whole lot about that. I know we have a picture of it, though. And so, like, that's really vivid in my memory just 'cause we have the picture. But I don't really remember anything about it. And we had, like, a pin the tail on the dinosaur for some reason.
Like that. Those are
That's
all
interesting. Fun. That's awesome, though, that I remember it still, even though I was 6. But.
Yeah, because our family, I think... I remember I was like 5 or 6 myself when we first became friends. Yeah. So that's right on track, right?
Right.
One of the first birthdays that I went to of yours.
Yeah. I think I was 4, and Braden was 3
Yeah.
when. Yeah.
Wow, it's crazy.
And that's something else.
And Oakley was like just born.
Right. Yeah.
Newborn baby.
Yeah, she was a little bitty. Yeah, my very first memory of you. I have my very first memory of you is I was sitting here in my room right here where I am right now. I don't remember what I was doing, but you and Wyatt just burst into my room without saying like I didn't know who you were. I didn't know you were coming to my house. I didn't know anything. And you and Wyatt just run into my room, and I'm like, what the heck? And you tried to open my closet door, which was really hard to open for some reason. I don't know why. And you guys tried to open my closet door, and you couldn't get it open. You're like, oh, it's locked. And then you ran out. And I was just sitting there in shock, like, what?
And you were just here to witness the whole thing.
Yeah, I was just like, what just happened? Just 2 people that I have no idea who they are just ran into my room and tried to open my closet that isn't locked and said it was locked and ran out.
Yeah, like it doesn't even have a lock on it.
And I was just like, what the heck happened?
We were crazy kids, that's for sure.
That's my first memory of you and Wyatt. I don't.
We must have I think my first memory that I can remember at least is meeting you guys at church. So I feel like we must have got an invite back home after.
Right, that's probably what it was. But I was little. I wasn't paying attention to plans at that point.
I guess
I
was so 4. Little, I
was literally
pay
4.
To people.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I can look back on that moment and remember if you were in here. Just crazy looking for toys and stuff.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I mean, and I mean some of my first memories too are just like walking Oakley around the church. I was so proud to help Oakley walk because she could, she was only like 9 months old or something. And then I remember Braden made fun of me for how small my teeth were, and I remember just getting in this big argument. I'm like, your teeth are smaller than mine.
She's like 3 at the time,
right? And I'm like 90% sure that her teeth actually were smaller than mine. but
you can't be 100.
Right, I can't be 100 because I was only 4, so I could have been delusional about my own teeth.
And toddlers are ruthless too. They'll go up and just tell you the truth. Much.
But little did she know, my teeth are still the same size.
She could never have known how bad that would hurt.
She definitely won that argument now. But yeah, that's one of my first memories of Braden. And we also had a big argument about if cheetahs or race cars were faster.
And let me guess, she was team cheetah.
Yeah, definitely.
And you were like, there's no competition at all.
Right.
They physically can't go as fast as a race car, but she was a kid and loved animals, and cheetahs were the fastest animal in the animal kingdom, so they were the fastest thing.
Yep, and she loved cheetahs so much back then, so that was like, I was attacking her identity at that point.
Right. But then she'd just throw insults at you that would stay with you forever. Yeah.
Man, I still am like, I still have very vivid memories of Braden just traumatizing me on purpose.
That's Braden.
like I'm sorry, I don't know why we're just talking about Braden, but I have a very vivid memory of me just walking out this door right here. We're like having a bonfire down there or something. It was dark, and I walked out, and she just walked up to me and just pinched me super hard, and I just started crying, and I was like, why did you do that? And she just walked inside.
I think just us Browning kids as a whole are just different. We're just a little different. You guys were like so structured here. There was two parents, two kids, one boy, one girl.
I remember being in such shock. We went over to your house, and I was like 5. Me and Braden were probably both 5 at the time, or 4 or something. And Braden got her own milk out and poured it, and I was just in shock that she could do that. I was just like, what is happening?
Like
I couldn't believe it. Yeah. First of all, I was like, how is she strong enough to do that? And I was like, wait, how was she allowed to do that? Like, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing.
I think it was a pretty big culture shock for both our families, actually, just kind of intertwined for a while. But yeah, I remember Oakley too, because I have the best memory of her being a baby. She I mean, we were probably all like her, but you know, she was always trying to keep up with us, and she was out here like making herself cereal at like before she could even eat it with a spoon properly. I'm like,
right, because she was the youngest. She was like
always trying.
She
to
was
keep
in the
up,
lion's den. Yeah.
When you talk to her today, you would think she's like a 20-year-old,
but she's only 15.
Yeah.
15. Yeah. That is mind blowing to me because like I have like kids in my. Like, I have close friends that are, like, 13 and 14, you know, and they're very, very mature. And then I also have kids, like, in the after-school program that are 13 and 14, and it's just like...
They're kids. Yeah.
Yeah, like, these are little kids, and then I have other people in their class that are, like, close friends to me. It's mind-blowing. It's just interesting, the different rates that people mature.
Exactly, because it all comes down to maturity. Like, we all have a physical... time here on earth, but you know, some people may grow up and mature faster than others,
right? And as you can tell, since I have friends that are like 14, I'm probably pretty immature.
Right. I mean, I love being immature. I live for it.
Yeah, I'm always the guy that I'm like angry when people like they just won't do something because it's like not cool, you know, like it makes you look not cool. It's like, but you could have so much fun right now if you just let yourself, but instead you're worried about what other people think.
Exactly. Gosh, that's a really valuable lesson to learn in life too, though. You know? I mean, you're gonna. I mean, the people that are like that, I think eventually when they go through their own like actual mature phase, they're gonna realize that what other people think doesn't matter as much if it's halting your life from being as good as it can be.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. Well. We've gone on for quite a while.
We have, huh?
We've
just been talking.
Mm-hmm.
I love podcasts. Do you, for the audio version, you put like music in there sometimes too, or?
I don't. I've thought about it. It'd just be like
fun. Some lo-fi, really subtle in the background.
Just like fade into the ending.
Yeah.
It's just like a end song. Right. So here's what our ending is like. I am Bob the Tomato. You are Larry the Cable Guy.
Of course.
And
Larry the Cable Guy.
Yep.
Okay.
What's your favorite like broadcaster? Like
someone that's in an industry similar to what we're doing now?
No, like ESPN or Hulu or
let me I don't know his name right now.
Disney Plus.
Can I pull up my phone real quick? Because I got a person in my mind, I just don't remember everyone's names. It's funny because we can go back to the NBA question earlier. It's not that I have zero information of NBA, like, and just in general, I'm bad with names. Like, I could meet you and the next day not remember your name. I have to solidify, like, whenever I meet new people, when they tell me their name, I tell myself like something related to that name so I can try to remember it, just so I'm not rude to them when I see them again and know that I've met them and don't remember their name. But with celebrities that don't care about me, I definitely don't remember. Okay. Just some awkward silence for a second. Oh, here it is. Let's say Bob. He goes by Bob, but Bob Minery. He's a podcaster and a comedian. A lot of you guys who don't know that name, he was the guy that will do those exaggerated sport podcaster like reactions, like when someone does something crazy and he'll like, you know, he's really vulgar. He'll throw like cuss words in there and stuff, but like the way his voice is doing it, or like he'll do it over animal videos and just make it seem like it's a sport commentation. Yeah. And I don't know. I love comedy. I love humor. Putting humor in any genre is always an added bonus for me. So I think that's a pretty funny guy. And I watch the Nelk podcast too. He's a character. I like him.
Okay, so I guess what was his name again?
Bob Minery.
Bob Minery.
I didn't know his last name was that. He just goes by Bob.
Okay. So I guess I'm Bob Minery today, and you're Larry the Cable Guy, and you're watching the Bob Minery podcast. Peace out.
Peace.
I've never said peace out in my life.
Well, that Bob Menery would, so.
Cool.